First off, I want to say thank you for coming to this live. Hopefully, you get some incredible information from what I'm going to discuss with you today. The APA, the American Psychological Association, it talks about single parenting being one of the most difficult challenges that a human will ever experience. And according to the US Census Bureau, there are 9.8 million Americans that are dealing with that right now. Of that group, 2.5 million of them are males. And that's who I'm talking to today. Single parenting is difficult for all groups, male and female alike. But the subgroup of the single male gets ignored. It has so many additional challenges that it has to deal with. Masculinity, dealing with the feelings of loneliness, isolation, all these different things that we as a normal society utilize as core to our function. Reality is the circumstances are daunting. They're challenging. And society will tell you that it's too big for you to deal with. But I'm going to give you a few points to understand that single fathers, you are superheroes. You are in an exclusive club. And although you don't want to be in that club, now that you are, membership, it has its privileges. And I'm going to discuss those over the course of this conversation. But first, I want us to realize that society as a whole wants us to believe that we can't navigate through the challenges, not without help, not without their help, not without some 12-step program or 8-step program or whatever, what have you. Reality is, men, we have an inner resilience. We have to learn how to tap into it. As a matter of fact, I was looking at this interesting TEDx talk by a Buddhist monk by the name of Shi Yi. And Monk Yi talked about that resilience factor. As a matter of fact, he gave a very interesting joke. He said that, do you think that the cavemen had depression? He got the crowd laughing with that one. But then he said, let me give you another example. Do you believe that the Spartans, they were depressed? And it wasn't that they weren't depressed. It was that they found a way to manage their depression by using the gifts that they had within them. That inner resilience came through. The Master Yi, he started talking about the fact that, especially in the American society, we gravitate towards luxury, towards comfort, towards ease. And those things, although they're great, they have a tendency to weaken us. I mean, if you notice, there are so many people that are self-medicating, doing things like drinking all the time, taking drugs. Therapists are getting paid. And people do not feel that they have the ability to manage through the challenges of the day to day. As a matter of fact, a Forbes article talked about the fact that in the last 20 years, alcohol related deaths have increased over 20%. We are riding to our death because we don't feel we can manage. We see the rate of suicide is pretty high. All of the negative chatter that we hear, that's on the tip of the iceberg. I'm challenging men, and I'm targeting single father men. I'm challenging you to look underneath the iceberg. There is a gift that has been hidden and unearthed by the challenges you've gone through. You made the choice. Well, the choice may have made you, but you are walking through the cave to discover your treasure. And that treasure comes through the form of you obtaining so many new talents and gifts that you don't even realize. For example, at one point, you used to be 50% of a relationship. You handle certain things. Your significant other handle other things. Now that that significant other is no more, you are responsible for every aspect. That means you're the chief cook and bottle washer. You're that person that not only you're relying on, but also your children are relying on. They need you. And again, I know this seems daunting, but I'm urging you to look beneath the iceberg. Look at all the skills, the talents, and the gifts you've obtained from the challenges you've endured. Understand that you need to give yourself credit. During this talk, I'm going to give you 3 major takeaways that you can use today to be able to forward your progress and to navigate through your journey of single parenthood. I want to first talk about the fact that you need to shift your thought process. You got to shift your mind. You have to stop seeing every aspect as a doom and gloom, woe is me type of relationship with life. And literally flip that around so that you're saying to yourself, you know what? I've been able to obtain this. I know this. I can do this. See the opportunity within the challenges. Understand that you're learning to navigate through the chaos. And yes, everything is a learning process. So there are going to be times where you are going to make mistakes. You're learning. Don't beat yourself up over the fact that things didn't go quite the way you wanted them to. Understand that you are navigating a journey and you're walking through. Also, if you make a wrong turn, You have the opportunity to correct. You can self-correct, turn around, and fix whatever circumstance you were in. So don't believe that because you hit a brick wall, that wall is closing in on you. It's not. You have a way out. And understand that, because once you do, and once you make that shift in your mind, you'll see how incredible you actually are. And remember, your children are looking at you. They're watching everything you're doing. And every time you take the approach of, I'm an overcomer, they see that. They feel that they have the ability to overcome as well. You're walking this journey together. Another thing, listen, there's a lot of advice out here. Like I said earlier, at the tip of the iceberg, everybody's giving you the doom and gloom and the negative. Now, don't get me wrong. Here's some advice, because that could be cautionary. That can work to your advantage. But hearing the advice, hearing it, and listening are two different things. At times, you may have to find the way to absorb the information, but utilize it to work to your advantage. Everybody's relationship with their circumstance is different. And yours is absolutely unique to you. You're the one who's got to wake up in the morning. You're the one that's got to tell yourself that I'm going to make this happen no matter what. I'm going to achieve this goal. And a lot of times, we allow ourselves to believe that we can't do it. And that's absolutely untrue. Don't think that just because someone gave you advice, that advice is sage advice for you. It may work for them. It may work for other people. It might not work for you in your circumstance. Keep that in mind. And the biggest thing is, you have got to learn to step out of your comfort zone. You see, there is no comfort to be had within the challenge of your circumstance. There's no reason to be comfortable in your discomfort. Make the choice to walk outside of the situation. When you do that, you're telling yourself, I'm willing to do what it takes to get to the other side. And it may mean that you're going to have to make an attempt to multitask in some situations, or really not multitask at all. Just do your functions repetitively, one after the other. It might seem monotonous, but as you do them and complete them, you realize you're achieving your goals. And again, give yourself credit for that. You have to, sometimes you're the only person that's going to congratulate you. So don't beat yourself up over any challenges that you face, look at it as being an overcomer. That's why it's important to step out of your comfort zone. And a big part of stepping out of your comfort zone is finding your particular tribe. Your tribe might not be the people you formerly gravitated to, the old friends you had, the old family, things of that nature. Your circumstance is different. You might find it important to seek like minded individuals who've been through similar circumstances, not your circumstances, but similar circumstances. And they may be able to give you valuable advice that's based on circumstance. Remember, they have experience. They've gone through the road. I remember when I first became a single parent back in 2016, when my wife died, I had to raise two daughters by myself. And at a certain point, of course, it was daunting. It was difficult. But you know what? Difficulty is equivalent to growth. Nothing grows without being in a difficult environment. Over time, I was able to obtain those skills that I talked about. I learned to do the things that my wife had mastered. I learned how to cook. I learned how to be more sensitive to my daughter's needs. These are things that you must do as a single father. You have to step out of that comfort zone. You have to see those challenges as working to your advantage. Understand that at any point, you can give up. But if you give up, realize that you're not just affecting yourself. You are affecting the children that you bore. Your seeds are affected. What's interesting, I was reading an article that talked about the fact that the absence of the father increases the rate of crime in individual children. They grow up gravitating towards someone else to help them navigate through their day. And sometimes they gravitate to the wrong person. Being a father, no, being a dad is different. Anybody can be a father. But being a dad, that brings that superhero aspect out of you. That allows you to tell yourself, I know how to navigate this path. I know how to navigate this path, and I'm taking my children with me. And together, we're going to forge a brand new life. A life that, unfortunately, we had to deal with because of an absence, maybe some type of loss or maybe some type of divorce. Something happened that created your new environment. Again, look under the surface of the iceberg. I told you there are three really important things that I want you to take away with this conversation. The first one is, like I said, see your challenges as opportunities. Shift your mindset to realize that you've overcome so much. You've learned so many things. You've acquired so much knowledge. And now you're utilizing that knowledge to take care of your day-to-day functions. The next thing is, like I said before, hear the advice of others. And understand that sometimes you might not be able to listen to them. I heard this very interesting thing. The speaker said, why would you pay attention to a broke person about making money? That doesn't make sense. So outside sources might be attempting to talk to you about situations that don't apply to them, but yet they want to impart their knowledge onto you. Reality is, sometimes there are people out there that don't understand how amazing you become. And in their mind, they don't believe they can do it. So instead of congratulating you, they're going to attempt to tear you down so they can temporarily feel better. They're not bad people. It's just acts of human nature. So understand the aspects between hearing circumstances, hearing advice, listening to advice, and taking it. And the third thing I want to talk about is stepping out of your comfort zone, finding your tribe. Now, listening to the advice of experienced people, that's important. Because what you're going to do in that respect is take that information and you're going to synthesize it to work for you. Your situation might be a little different, but there are aspects of that conversation that you may be able to utilize that will help you navigate your personal journey when it comes to single parent, especially as a man. I mean, like I said, there are only 2.5 million of us. We are a very small number. But like I said in the beginning of our conversation, membership to a club you did not want to be in, it does have its privileges. You simply have to shift your perspective to see the privileges that you have. You have obtained incredible skills. You have learned so many new things. You have acquired abilities that never would have been on earth if you hadn't gone through your experience. Grief, the challenges, the trauma that we go through, that's the only route to growth. Nobody grows in their zone of comfort. So like I said, see challenges as opportunities. That's the first thing. The second thing is hear the advice of others. But listen to your heart, listen to yourself. And the last thing I'm going to say again is understand that stepping out of your comfort zone and finding your tribe, a tribe that you can relate to, that's valuable because you now learn incredible insights that can help you navigate through your personal journey. Contact me so we can have a conversation. Like I said, I'm an empowerment strategist and I use aspects of grief to help single men obtain growth. You can go to my website, jl3motivation.com. And if you didn't have the opportunity to see this live, I'm actually putting it onto my YouTube site. So that site is at empowerment0108. Look at that information and absorb it because at a certain time, you will be able to utilize it to have it work to your advantage.